Hello, embedded system lovers. So today we are taking a look at the ESP32 microcontroller and what makes it a powerful tool for embedded systems and IoT development. So we are also going to program it using the Arduino IDE and run a few sketches to show what this tiny module can actually do. All right. So you can also use the platform IO on VS Code to program this ESP32 microcontroller. So I'm currently building a series on ESP32 for embedded systems and IoT mastery on how to master embedded systems and IoT development using the ESP32 microcontroller. So you can consider this as the official starting point, which is this is the very first video to open up the playlist on using ESP32 for embedded systems and IoT mastery. So first thing first, what exactly is an ESP32 microcontroller? The ESP32 is a series of microcontrollers developed by Express If Systems, which is a semiconductor company based in Shanghai. The ESP32 is widely known for being a low-cost microcontroller module with built-in Wi Fi and Bluetooth features for wireless and Internet of Things applications. And most of my projects were developed with the ESP32 microcontroller, like the Smart Waste Management System and a host of other of my projects, including the Smart Water Pump Controller device. They are all developed by the ESP32 microcontroller. So it's no news that over the last couple of years, the ESP32 has exploded in popularity in the maker space, even hardware prototyping labs, and even in commercial products, right? So this is mainly because it offers one of the cheapest and the easiest ways to add Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, BLE, and even real computing power into DIY electronics projects. And this is why the ESP32 microcontroller has gained popularity over the years. The ESP32 was first released in late 2016, and since then its adoption curve has been steadily rising. And the support ecosystem around ESP32 development keeps getting better as more hobbyists, firmware engineers, and hardware designers integrate the Express If chips into their products. Now let's talk about the firmware environment. Writing firmware for ESP32 has never been easier, especially with the Arduino IDE support. It allows beginners and prototype builders to integrate Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth functionality into projects without needing to learn everything about real-time operating systems, But if you need more control or you are building commercial embedded systems products, other ESP32 development environments exist as well, such as the ESP and the platform IO, as you can see on screen. So far, you can all agree with me that the ESP32 is looking pretty impressive, but how do you actually get one? Just like Arduino, ExpressIf publishes open source schematics and hardware reference designs for ESP32 modules. This means third-party companies are free to manufacture their own boards based on the same chip. This is why you see so many different ESP32 development boards in the market. So here are a few popular ESP32 development boards. We have the HUSA32 Feather from Adafruit. We have the ESP32 Tin from SparkFun Electronics. We have the Lonelin32 from Wemos and the Node MCU32S from AI Tinker. There are also ESP32 development boards with OLED displays, LoRa radios, battery chargers, cameras like the ESP32 Camp, or cellular connectivity for remote IoT deployment. But for this video, I will be using a generic ESP32 development module, and honestly, most boards will give you roughly the same performance for general prototyping. Now let's see what the ESP32 microcontroller is capable of by taking a look at what's happening under the hood. The ESP32 features dual 32-bit Tensilica extensor microprocessor cores clocked at up to 240 MHz with 512 kilobytes of SRAM. It has integrated 802.11 BGN Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.2 with BLE support, that is Bluetooth Low Energy. It also includes a wide set of peripherals such as a 12-bit ADC, that's analog to data converter, and two 8-bit DACs, which is data to analog converters. Comes with multiple PWM channels, that is pulse width modulation channels, 10 capacitive touch GPIOs, that's 10 capacitive touch general purpose input and output pins, and several serial communication interfaces, including 4 SPI, 2 I2C, 2 I2S, and 3 UART buses. All right. The ESP32 also includes dedicated security hardware such as AES encryption, secure boot, and flash encryption, which makes it suitable for real IoT deployments and not just hobby experiments. So these are some of the key features of the ESP32 microcontroller. Now on to the programming stuff. The easiest way to program the ESP32 is with the Arduino IDE, and it's just like working with the Arduino. So although there is a little bit of setup, what you have to do is you need to get the ESP32 board package, and here is how you get that. You open the board manager in the IDE, and then you search for ESP32 and install the latest version. Mine is installed already, so you have to install yours since you are just getting started. So once it's installed, you can pick your board in the Arduino IDE. All right, so for the ESP32 Dev 1 board, we are going to choose the ESP32 Dev module, and now we can now run our code. You can see our code is running just fine. All right, so there are some libraries that are incompatible with the ESP32 and only work with Arduinos, like the Servo and the Timer 1 library. So, but you don't have to worry about it because most popular libraries have ESP32 version that does basically the same thing like the ESP32 Servo and the ESP32 Timer interrupt. So Express If provides an official development framework called the ESP IDF, and it is what most commercial products use. But there are other frameworks as well, including the Lua-based environments. You have JavaScript, MicroPython, and of course, you have C and C++. But for beginners and for rapid prototyping, the easiest platform to start with is still the Arduino IDE or the platform IO. Now let us test the Wi-Fi feature on our ESP32 development board. So go to File, Examples, scroll to the ESP32 section, go to Wi-Fi, and open the simple Wi-Fi server example. This sketch allows us to control an LED from a web server. So you update your Wi-Fi SSID and the password in the sketch. As you can see how I'm doing it, I've updated my SSID and my Wi-Fi password, and then you upload it. So once it's uploaded, you open the serial monitor and then you reset the board. You already know how to reset the board. There is an EN button on the ESP32 development board. So after it connects, you will get an IP address on the serial monitor. So copy that IP address as I'm doing it into your browser, and you should see a basic web page that can toggle the LED on and off. So if you have any question regarding what we've discussed so far, just leave your question in the comment section below and I would attend to it. If there is anywhere in the video that is not clear to you, please drop your question in the comment section below and I will reply immediately. So here is what is happening behind the scenes. Your browser is acting like an HTTP client. So when you visit a URL, it sends a HTTP GET request to the server. In this case, the ESP32 is the server. The ESP32 processes the request and returns a small HTML page that allows you to toggle the LED. So you do not need to understand all the code right now. This example is simply to demonstrate how powerful Wi-Fi on the ESP32 development board can be for IoT projects. And if you want to learn how to build your very first IoT project from scratch, just click on the video on the top right corner and you'll learn how to build your very first IoT project. And I'm also going to put the video at the end of this particular video so you can learn how to build your very first IoT project from scratch. And this is the basic introduction to the ESP32 and why it is one of the most exciting microcontrollers for embedded systems and for the Internet of Things, IoT. So in our upcoming videos, we are going to dive deeper into ESP32 peripherals, Wi-Fi networking, cloud integration, and more. So let me know in the comments what ESP32 project ideas you are thinking about building, and I might feature them in our future videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free to like and subscribe so that the YouTube algorithm can recommend this video to other embedded system and IoT lovers. Like, subscribe, and share this video. And if you have any question or project suggestions or topic you want me to cover on this channel, please leave it in the comment section below and I'll attend to it immediately. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one, and bye.